So John Cornyn first ran for the Senate back in 2002. And at that time, he reached out to a young man that was working for his opponent. Now that's quite something to ask. Would you endorse me while I'm running against your boss? Now if that person wants to keep his job, he might think twice about that. But that young person thought about it. And that young person knew his Texas history. And he knew about a man named Davy Crockett. And Davy Crockett is credited with this quote: "First be sure you're right, then go ahead." If you know what to do in your heart, if you know what is right, you do it. That sentence ends with a period. It doesn't end with a comma. That sentence ends with a period. It doesn't go to a comma that says, unless it will upset someone. It doesn't say, unless that might get my name in the papers. It doesn't say, unless I might lose my job. It says, do what you know is right. Period. Now, as we know, Davy Crockett didn't just say those words. Davy Crockett lived those words, and Davy Crockett died over those words, because he was there at the Alamo when William Barrett Travis drew his famous line in the sand with his sword. Now, Travis knew when he drew that line that anybody that stayed in the Alamo had zero chance of living. He knew that they were all going to die at the hands of Santa Anna's army coming over those walls. He drew a line in the sand and he said, I'm over here, step across, if you're willing to die with me for Texas. And all but one man in the Alamo stepped across that line. I want to ask you right now, of our elected officials, if you were to draw a line in front of them and say, step across the line to save America and give your life, would they? No. Sadly, I think not.
I think Ted Cruz would.
Ted Cruz, very much likely not. You might be right about that. So that young person decided, because he knew what was at stake. At that time, the Senate was at 50-50, and the outcome of the Texas Senate race could have determined whether the judicial appointments of George W. Bush got to go forward or got killed. That could have made a huge amount of difference, and he knew that. So he put his name on that piece of paper. He rolled the dice and started looking to see if he needed to find another job. But as it was, he didn't need to. I tell that story because that was one person, probably out of thousands, that made a sacrifice in small ways and large to help John Cornyn take his seat in the Senate. Probably a lot of y'all would meet that description. You did something. You maybe called for him. Maybe you walked some precincts for him. Maybe you made a phone call. Yeah.
It's really hot out here and nobody can hear anything. There's two speakers in here and I don't think you need them. Can you see if maybe they can get one of these speakers? Y'all are better than people out here.
Yeah.
I agree.
Is that something that can be done?
Yes, we're going to work on that.